This is a picture of the USS Saratoga shipwreck, and this is the God of the Depths from the Fear and Hunger video game. Now, today, we're going to be talking about inspiration, just like that picture inspired the video game. We're going to be talking about what inspired me when I wrote The Abandoned City of Phenomenalopolis. Indestructiboy put on a game jam where participants would have to come up with a 5-room dungeon. Now, my dungeon obviously quickly evolved beyond that scope, so I think I'm not going to win because there's so many amazing examples of 5-room dungeons. I'll give a link, and I don't believe the final tally has been put out by the judges yet, but there's a lot of amazing dungeons that were made for this event. Visually stunning, very interesting concepts. Typically for me, my dungeon ended up being a mishmash of stuff, and specifically this is a system neutral format, so even more care would have to be taken to explain concepts in a general way. Most of my dungeon crawls, if you've seen my past videos on the subject, are basically just like a couple lines here and then maybe a couple paragraphs describing mechanics, and then a bunch of tables, because I love tables. And so this went from like a couple of scribblings to a full 10 pages. And yes, I am going to release this adventure once the game jam is officially done. I'm pretty proud of it. It's going to be available for people who are members of this channel. So, inspirations for this. I'm going to run down and I'm going to try to have my inspirations from the biggest inspiration down to the smallest ones. So this can be placed into pretty much any setting, I think. Even though it is very technologically, the technological stuff in this is very weird and obviously a mix of magic and mechanical stuff. It was a planned city that was supposed to show how amazing this technology-driven city was supposed to be, but everything broke down. It seemed like everybody died, nobody escaped, and the city has been abandoned for years. That is where the player characters come in to explore the city and figure out exactly what's going on. My biggest inspiration was the Mystery Flesh Pit National Park. This is originally a world building thing that was done, and it quickly just expanded to everything. Now, I think the biggest project that's associated with this is actually a tabletop game, which is going to be coming out with there's 2 different versions, and one of those versions is going to be a 5e version. You can still pre-order. I'll have that linked below. If you've never heard of this world-building project, it's amazing. So it's basically, they discovered this massive underground life form, and they ended up building a national park on top of it, and corporations took control of everything, and there was all sorts of amazing world building. And obviously things went very, very wrong. And this was sort of the base thing. That the concept of just somebody trying to do something that's very planned, and it seems like everything was going well, but things went very badly. And that's kind of where the first inkling of where my adventure would take place. Obviously didn't follow this that much. However, I did keep some themes, I think, of technology versus nature. So when you add technology to organics, some bad stuff might happen, and it's going to cause backsliding. So obviously technology can't solve humans' base foibles, the faults that every living creature has. Technology can seemingly solve everything, but then issues are going to crop up. And this is an amazing example. I highly suggest you check this out. There's a ton of free content on this website. Every single one of these pictures, if you click on it, it goes into deeper, and you can read like a full article. There's so much amazing art in here and whatnot. It really is a great read, and like I said, they are going to be doing they're doing a pre-order for the RPG based on this. So, second big thing, Manchester, New Hampshire. A city apparently made to rival Manchester, which again, this was basically a planned town, and you can see that like everything was so planned out, but you can't plan for the future. So Manchester and its history is very interesting. How what was once a perfect industrial town, the industrial town in America, some people might say, eventually became something that was much different. And the company town idea, unfortunately, just didn't really withstand the march of time all that much. So for the main adversary of this game, a creature that is only known as Safety Sam. Safety Sam section, of course, here is the classic, very, very long section here. He is the main antagonist, or impediment, or hazard in this dungeon crawl adventure. And he is based on a childhood memory. A very early childhood memory. When first we come to kindergarten and like the first grade, and we get to use what? We get to use the playground at Resource. And what was in the playground? Something that looked an awful lot like this. Yes, the Pipe Man Cowboy. And there are various versions of this, and they're all kind of interesting. Like, all these versions that I saw have like this soft bit of, it looks like just sort of sawdust slash compost material or something. The ones at my school were just the steel pipes set in bare exposed concrete. And these are what's known as a climber. So little kids are supposed to climb on this. And the big thing about the one that I grew up with is that it's very similar to this one. The big wheel on the front of ours was free moving, so kids could move it. And the game is that you got it turning as fast as you possibly could, and then you could like get strands of grass, and then you could cut the strands of grass because you had this big wheel moving around to make a lot of noise, and it was a lot of fun. The one that was in my particular school, there was a cowboy guy, and he was just sort of freestanding. He had his guns on his hips. So he was just sort of like facing nothing. But then the other one was not a cowboy, and he was wearing a conical hat. And it was very clearly a incredibly racist caricature. And yeah. You see how the one here has the face roughly drawn on? You can kind of easily see in your head what kind of face was drawn on the one with the conical hat. It was incredibly racist. So these things are tall. I don't remember how tall they are, but I believe they're like 8 feet tall, something like that, 10 feet tall. So, like, as a very, very little kid, I visited this playground, and I climbed to the very top of the one with the wheelbarrow, and I sat on top of its head, because that was always the goal. Now, I'm sure the people that are supposed to be watching over the kids during recess, even though these are climbers, like, I'm sure, like, nobody envisioned that, like, kids would climb literally on top of the hat. But, like, that's exactly what the goal was for every little kid. So they were incredibly dangerous and weirdly thought out. Kids back when I was a kid, back in the day, they were all very feral. This was the concept. This was the idea that formed Safety Sam. And Safety Sam is, in fact, a cowboy-style guy. He doesn't have any cowboy accoutrements, but he does say, like, partner and stuff like that. But, the general idea of Safety Sam is that he is this guy who is supposedly looking out for the safety of the city. But he's not looking out for the safety of visitors. He's looking out for the safety of the city. And that's it. So he doesn't actually help out visitors at all. And, there's this grinding noise as he's carrying around this cart around the city. And the city is, in fact, a city that has rules. And when players first come across this city, they're going to get this map. And I'm going to actually print these out and have them all be, mashed up and weathered. I'm going to use the T treatment on them probably. And Safety Sam says, no overnight camping, no littering, no stealing. Pets must be on a leash. And disparaging comments about Phenomenalopolis or its subsidiaries are not allowed. And those rules are going to be very, very important as the players go through this adventure. So I did make this in Canva, but even the free version is very useful. So I would say sign up for this. It's very similar to the new Adobe product, which I believe, I forget what the Adobe project is called, but it's I think it's a little bit better than that one in terms of just a browser-based editing thing. It's very helpful. And then I just used Google Docs to do the system neutral thing. I learned a lot about Google Docs. I learned a lot about making proper tables and stuff. Like I said, it's somewhat short, but this is probably going to be a 3 to 4 hour adventure. It's 9 pages and then 2 extra pages of maps. And yeah, it's very interesting. I certainly learned quite a lot doing this game jam. If you are interested in writing, I would say that you look out for ways that you can participate in stuff like this, because it does help out quite a bit in terms of learning how to format things correctly. So yeah, that is literally just a couple quick inspirations that helped form the foundation for this one dungeon crawl. It's very interesting to consider what concepts really stick in your head and how you can use those concepts and ideas in your writing. So, if you have inspirations on the writing that you've done for D&D, whether that be for an adventure or for a character or maybe just for a custom magical item or something like that, let me know in the comments below. I'm hoping to get more inspired for making more crafting stuff soon, so stick forward and look at that. I'm still just waiting for some time off so I can do the big, huge miniature video, iceberg video thing. I still want to do that. I have it mostly written out. I have all the pictures, and I just need to sit down and just record it. And I think that basically it's going to be more of it's going to just be more of a starting thing, because you can waste all this time and do the super big videos, but I think I just need to focus on other stuff. So yeah. But yeah, so crafting stuff, and then and we're going to be doing some special projects coming up. So yeah, so look forward to that. Peace. Oh man, look at him. Let him go. Oh, stir it up. Stir it up. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.